Hi there, welcome to Dave in the Shed. I'm Dave and this is my little corner of the world, also known as the Shed Mahal. Now if you're into DIY, 3D printing and model trains, you come to the right place. Now fair warning, I do things a little bit differently. I have cerebral palsy, which means sometimes things get a little bit creative around here, but hey, it just makes it more fun. So if you like making, fixing, and maybe even breaking things along the way, stick around. Hit that subscribe button and let's build something awesome together. Well, this is an interesting way to start the video. It's Tuesday morning. We're starting this week's video Tuesday. I'm outside. I'm on the right close to the back door. I'm trying to see what this thermometer says and catch it on camera. It's about 8 degrees on the back deck. It's about midday, or just after midday. It's probably like, let's go 1-ish, 2-ish. Anyway, it's 1-ish in the afternoon. It's about middle of the day. This thermometer is reading, if we can get it, it's reading about 8 degrees in the shade. We'll go and check the official weather forecast on the weatherman and see what he says, but it's cold. Now this will all come relative in a sec, but at the moment it's just me gibbering on video. But anyway, welcome to this week's video. Welcome to Dave in the Shed. I'm going to be really lazy. I should do a screen dump and put it in the video, excuse me, properly, clearing the throat, but going to cheat, just going to show you what the current temp is for Cowra, where I am. According to the forecast, it's not a very pleasant day. Could get a shower or two, might get up to 13 degrees. The lowest, 7 o'clock this morning, 7.29 a.m, 8.5 degrees. Highest temperature it got to is 10.8, 10:26 a.m. this morning. Currently it tells me it's 10.3 is the official weather forecast. Yeah. It's cold. It's cold. It's not too bad in the office. I'm sitting in my office. According to the machine here, it's about 26 degrees here in the office. So it's not too bad. It's pleasant. It'll all make sense in a sec, people. This will all make sense. Okay. I'm in the dining room. I'm using the dining room with permission, okay? For anybody asks, Dave, dining room, you'll get yourself in trouble. No, this is a with permission job using the dining room at present. Now, waiting for the parts to fix the heater. The power supply was meant to be here yesterday according to the tracking, but that's useless in the order because yesterday was a public holiday in Australia, bank holiday, so nothing was open. My parcel is also coming on the world's worst courier. So even though the expected delivery was yesterday, yeah, that's not happening, later in the week. But anyway, what are we going to do till then? What are we going to keep ourselves occupied with because we're not out in the shed? Well, I've had sitting around for quite a few months a resin printer. And I bought it especially to do really fine detail parts like train horns and other bits and pieces. And people, because I want to get some people on the layout. So that's our next thing is designing people and doing bits and pieces. But anyway, now, the temperature thing comes in because you need, for resin printers don't like printing under anything about 20 degrees. Really don't. They recommend 20 degrees or greater. So it's not something you can just set up and play with and go. So anyway, here's a fancy piece of Chinese technology that I've had for, once again, had it for quite a while, just decided to play. It's a fancy multimeter, which means nothing to a lot of people. which then has a thermocouple device plugged into it, which just allows us to read temperatures. And I've been playing with this morning. That's how come I know it's about 26 degrees down in the office, which is lovely, and it's 23 degrees up in this end of the house, in the dining room, which is not too bad. Now the heating is on. I have fans on, overhead fans on, and all sorts of bits and pieces to circulate the thing. Look, I'll show you over there. That's the big heater. It's only running low. It's got the fan on. I've got fans on. We've yeah, a little confused people. Anyway, so I'm doing the test print so far, so there's nothing to see yet. It's going to take about 6 hours to do this, but we're going to take you on a bit of a venture this week. Is printing in resin, and I'm hopefully going to produce some people. So it's about, it says it's done 24%. It's been printing for an hour and a bit, and it's got about 4 hours and 9 minutes to go. I don't know how much you can read that screen on that, just reading. And it really isn't not much to see because there's just this thing that's bobbing up and down in the resin vat. There's not a lot that I can't do with my FDM, my filament-based printers. We're going to go and look at them in a sec because I've got another job going. But yeah, this is just, it's been sitting around for about 4 or 5 months, and I thought, look, I'm going to have a crack with it. We're going to have a play. We'll set it up. So yeah, it's an opportunity to play with a few things that I don't normally play with till we get back in the shed, till the weather gets a bit nice. It is very wintry, coldy, nasty weather. But anyway, I'm just rabbiting on now, making up. So you can see. So this little thing's there's a vat of resin in there, and we've calibrated the thing, and it's just doing this uppy down thing. It's doing it. There's nothing to see yet. Hopefully later in the video we'll have something to show you. But anyway, let's just have a look. Now, I've got another story to tell you. Let's go out to the printer room. I'll pause the camera and walk around. I won't make you all sick on that bit. Now, I'm a little bit fascinated by engineering and engineering stuff and principles. What I did is decided I was going to build myself a big bridge. Let's test out the maximum what my printers can do. Let's build a big bridge. And of course, if you're going to build a big bridge, it's going to have to be Sydney Harbour Bridge. So I made up from one of the engineering sites and got a engineering file for Sydney Harbour Bridge, and then ran it through my slicer and turned it into sections that I could print in my big printer. So I started printing the bridge. Now, I'm not going to get very far because this is a funny story. I've almost run out of filament. I sat down last week on Friday and worked out how much filament I had and put an order in for some new stuff. So I ordered some new filament. And then over the weekend I started on this adventure of printing Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, what you can see in front of you is the fuchsia colour and the green colour. That fuchsia colour it's some quite big chunks of plastic. That is almost a complete roll of 3D filament. Now it's in 2 sections. I've done it multiple sections so we don't strain the machine. I should have disassembled it so you can see that. So these are in segments. So this bit here, which is in that fuchsia colour, and that panel there, that is almost a full roll of filament. In fact, the amount of filament that's left on the roll after printing those 2 sections is next to nothing. So I've committed to do this. I've come this far. Now I used up all the other bits and pieces I've had with filament. I had some green stuff, so we printed a bit in the green stuff. So I'm out of green stuff. I'm out of everything. Now I'm not totally out of filament. I do have some specialty filaments that are for doing novelty stuff, but since this is probably going to end up painted, it's pretty useless to use those. So yeah, the printer mob is kind of funny because I went through, they're having a sale at the moment in the financial year, so I put an order in for some filaments and bits and pieces, and that stuff would normally last me 2 or 3 months. I then had to sit down last night and I calculated how much filament I need the bridge. Had to put another order in because I'm going to need at least 4 more rolls at the rate I'm going to finish the bridge. But once you start something, you've got to finish it, don't you? You're on the project. We're on the ride. This thing's really going to be interesting. Now we'll wander along here. Oh, that's an aeroplane. That's all bits and pieces. That's leftover bits. So yep, it's sort of like parts plane. I will build it up. I've got enough parts to build one. I've got bits and pieces. So this is the other segment, the other end of the bridge. Once again, I printed a segment out of the green I had. I've got no more green left. And I printed a segment out of white. So I've used up, like I said, I've used up all the filament I've got on hand except what I'm printing on now over here in the K1 Max. Now it's printing the next part of the span of the bridge, and it's going to take about a day to print one section. I'm using this machine to its max. I've never used this machine to the max. It's printed at 11%, and it's telling me it's got 26 hours to print to go, to print that part. So, and there's 4 more sections of the bridge I have to print. Fair enough, a lot of them are copies. So this is second part of the arch, then there's the top part of the arch, the second top part. Anyway, you get the idea when you see it. So how much of the bridge we get done this week will be based on how quick the courier can get from Queensland with my orders. So that's quite funny. I was expecting an email from the printer mob in Queensland going, hang on, you put through one order and then you put a second order through. But yeah. So anyway, so this is a bit of a test. Now I'm only using the big printer because I can only use the big printer. It's also because of the cold weather. This thing's temperature controlled. We've got the dryer running. 3D printers, like a lot of stuff, have a print range they're happy with. The filament will absorb water and that, we've gone over that before. But anyway, so that's where we're at to. Now, I have had one major failure, which every now and then happened. We did have a real jam, which is not what you want to happen. And we ended up with a rubbish piece over here. So we've had to print that bit twice. We've got that much done, and the roll of filament jammed in the machine, twisted up on itself. Does happen every now and then. So we have had one dud. So it'll be interesting to see how much dud that. When a machine has a failure like that, there's no recovery because the roll thing. Yeah, I was hoping the machine might have detected that it wasn't printing properly and it would pause, but it should, but it didn't. So I'll have to investigate that after we do a bits and pieces. But anyway, that's where I'm up to this week. For a little bit, we are printing big chunks of Sydney Harbour Bridge. But I printed that first, so like the pylon section, and it tested the machine to its limits. It's the largest thing that I've ever printed in one piece. Oh, there's an opera house in the background. That's the start of this wild journey. So yeah, this is one of the largest things that I have ever printed ever in one piece. And it did use like 3/4 of a roll of filament. I never use that much filament. I use little bits. But anyway, a roll in a printer often lasts me a month. And I've blown through so much. It's quite funny. But you might as well go for the roll. So yeah, I'm just rabbiting on now. If you've got any questions, sing out. We'll talk to you more as this adventure goes on. We'll see how much of the bridge we get done before Friday. We might have a complete bridge, might be not. For those who haven't seen the printer room before, we'll have a bit of a pan. That's a Creality K1 Max. They're printing away. I have a Creality High. Big part of the printer. No, I'm not saying High, that's the name of the printer. Creality High, which has the Creality CFS, which is a colour mixer, and I have my Adventure 5M Pro over there, and roughly in the corner is a flash forward Adventure 3, the old Adventure 3 Pro. And I have another Adventure 3 Pro spare. Well, not Adventure 3 Pro, but other Adventure 3 spare, but that's the current printer setup with dryers and bits and pieces, and I normally have a stack of filament and such, but we've used up, apart from UV reactive filament and other bits and specialty filaments. But Sydney Harbour Bridge is going to be painted, so I wouldn't use that. I've run myself dry. Oh, I've got some of the Ryobi filament in there, but we keep that for special jobs. We're not going to waste that on Sydney Harbour Bridge. Tell you what, that gas heater, that Renai running off natural gas, which is running on low. The fan is on fast, but the actual machine itself is set for the low setting. And I've got like the ceiling fans on to pump some heat. And with the doors out, and the house is wide open, that's doing pretty good. That's doing pretty good to maintain here 23 degrees. Oh, I'm not complaining about that because look, the whole house is open. It's not closed up. And down the back of the house, it's rather good. Hi folks, it's currently Wednesday midday. Cold, miserable day once again out there. Ooh, not good. Now, this is the test print. This is the test print that comes with the resin printer, the 3D printer. So I did the factory test print. Came out okay. It's quite impressive. Unfortunately, the guy's got a bit of a flat head because I thought it had finished when it actually had 4 minutes to go, but I pulled it out of the machine and that. The learning curve's been good. I've changed the procedures because apparently what I'd done was wrong. I'd left the support structure on this fellow when I put him into the curer, because you wash the thing. Apparently you wash them, then remove your supports and then cure, and you get a bit of finish, but that's okay. So these are the first sample of people. Don't know how well you can see, they're not painted up, they're just grey. Let's see if we can look at them a bit better. So there is a guy who's playing a piano and a guy who's meant to be a train driver, and they're not too bad. They're okay. Look, once again, nobody tells you about the time that it takes. These guys took about 4 hours to print 2 guys. I'm doing another batch of people as we speak. I'm not playing with any settings. I've run all the factory settings in the slicer. These are files that I found off Thingiverse. I then slice them. I'm using all the settings, the factory settings for everything, including the washer, the dryer, well, the washer and curer, and the printer, and we seem to be okay. These will be a bit better when they've had some paint on. The grey is really good. The details are good. I'm happy. So that's that. And currently printing a second batch of people. A bit better, a bit more. It's going to take, to do this batch of people, it's going to take about, it did tell me, about 3 hours, 4 hours. Once again, just the settings on the machine, but that's okay. That's the good news. Once again, this is Wednesday. This is good news, bad news. We'll go and have a look at the bad news. See, this is good news. This is not bad news. This is the shipment of filament that I ordered from InkStation. Arrived on a courier about an hour and a bit ago, about 10 o'clock this morning. Quite incredible service. Now, I'm not endorsed by InkStation in any way. Now, there's 2 different orders, because I put an order through on Friday afternoon, and I then realised Sunday night that, if we're going to do this Sydney Harbour thing, I'm going to actually need more than what I calculated, so I put a second order through. Processing, Monday was a day off, they weren't working, so they must have processed this yesterday morning, put it on a courier and got it here. And if you order 4 rolls from them, roughly about, I won't tell you how much of filament, but they do free shipping, and the free shipping is courier. So you can't complain about that. Now, the total disaster. Overnight, printing the Sydney Harbour Brow, we have destroyed the extruder gearbox in the machine. I'm going to see all the debris from here, but one of the gears has the slidey gear over here. I'll see if we can focus it. Has chewed itself to bits. Has destroyed itself. Now, this is the second time I've destroyed one of these. So I'll have to get in touch with Creality and say, hey, there may be a problem, because now this is the second one. Now, this hopefully will be under warranty again, but we've replaced that because I did have a spare. Because last time they replaced one, I grabbed the next one. I thought, this is going to be a failure point. So, interesting. So what happened is we had 2 failures in bridge segments. First one was both were equipment failures, unfortunately. So these segments are write-off. They're big segments, but they're write-offs. The first one was the printer jammed. The actual filament roll jammed, which does happen when the filaments get down on low. You've got to be careful. We had a filament roll jam, which is rare but does happen. I've had 2 in my printing days. Probably 3, I think, 3, 2 or 3 over the last 4 years. So that they do happen, unfortunately. So I had one of those. It's when the roll filament sticks to itself and gets jammed in the roll. Not a lot of fun. So one print was a write-off. And the other one because the gearbox failed in the machine. Both of these cases were the machine kept going because it thought it was still printing, but the filament wasn't running right. The K1 Max does not have a filament tension center. It has a filament that will stop if it runs out, but it doesn't really detect if the filament is not feeding, which is a problem. But it's not a problem. And that's it. But anyway, I've had to rethink the Sydney Harbour Bridge project. We've look at that. So we've got two ends. So I've got to keep going now. We've got the ends. So I've redesigned how I'm printing it, and we will rock on and keep printing. But it's just going to be one of those things. Okay, had to sit down, rethink of it, try and do it in a way that we're not going to have the failures, and rock with it. Unfortunately, the segments do have to go into K1 because they're big pieces of plastic that we're printing. Anyway, that's the update for Wednesday. If anything else goes wrong or anything else goes right, I'll let you know. But let's get back into it, Dave. Let's get back into it. Well, hello, folks. Welcome to the end of the video. It's Friday. Running a bit late today. Been doing running around. It's not too bad a day, and I've had to do some running around this morning because this week's almost been a write-off with the weather. But anyway, we're on for running. This is the update on the bridge. It's going to be big. I didn't realise how big it is. Yeah, a bit of a learning curve in what we're doing. I've had to rejig some of my printing methods and processes to work out how to do this. I'll have a look at some printers and show you what's going on. But that's the progress so far. I don't know how many days I've been printing this now, but each section is roughly a day's printing in a machine. And so we've probably got another 4 days of printing to go. I am going to have to do a bit of a reinforcement with some nice dressed around 19 by 19 mil timber just to give it some extra support. That's roughly the length of it. Yes, it's big. It's like, well, I'm bored, I've got nothing else to do. What do? Oh, I'm going to make a scale bridge. Let's do Sydney Harbour and let's do it as big as I can. Bit of a silly idea at the time, but now I'm committed. We are probably, I'm about to say 2/3, but no, I've got another 6 sections to print, and I've printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about halfway through the process of doing, and it's about end scale. It's quite interesting. It's quite a large print. Anyway, we're going to rock on with that. We'll have a look at the printers in a sec. I've also been playing around with the 3D figures. We've almost got our procedures down for printing 3D figures, O-scale and resin. Getting some decent results now. Once again, it is a learning curve, working out bits and pieces and working out how to print some accessories and bits and pieces. Don't know how well I can focus in on this, but now these are just free figures off the internet. Not free figures. These are stuff you can download and not have to pay for. There are places where you can download, scale people and pay money for them, but no, these are just ones that I've found searching and come up with free. Now, we started off printing with a grey resin that came with the printer, but I also had some flesh stuff, so we've changed over this, and I think that does a better result. This flesh-covered resin does a better result. I can print about 9 people at a time. They take about 4 to 5 hours to print 9 people, and then you've got to wash them and then cure them. But so far, results are okay. We'll be painting them up soon and putting them on the layout. And yeah, with permission, doing this stuff in the dining room. Now we will running the bed and breakfast this weekend. It's not a paid bed and breakfast. This is people 10 visitors coming again this weekend. But anyway, they're just going to have to work around it because I'm doing stuff because it's cold. On the shed heater, the new power supply has arrived. That seems to have got the machine back on deck, but the fuel pump is still not priming properly, so we will have to wait for a new fuel pump. I'm not sure if the fuel pump failed and took out the power supply, or the power supply took out the fuel pump, but anyway, we'll see what happens. We've got one part of it fixed. We'll soon get it back on deck and be back in the shed when the weather's thing. Oh, that's a 3D printed toilet paper holder. It's done for a friend as a joke, but because I've got one of my dragons in the bathroom, so I thought, well, let's do something for the... But anyway, let's go for a quick wander around into the printer room, have a look at the 2 printers running. Now I've got both the larger Crealities running, printing pieces. These pieces take about a day each. This is the K1 printing a piece of the bridge. This is the Creality High printing one section. This is at the maximum capacity of this printer. It can't print a piece much bigger than that. If you can guess what part of the bridge that is. Once again, it's been a learning curve, learning how to do such prints, such fine detail. I have used, to try and reduce the errors because we don't want the stuff in bed glue. I'm not a big fan of using bed glue, but I've got some here that Creality sent with a printer. So I have used it just to give that little safety margin when printing stuff. Anyway, that's about it for this week. Keep safe, keep well. I have managed to then get airplanes together. I'm keeping one. The other one will be a giveaway. This one's probably the giveaway. This one's built out of parts that failed. It's got a bit of a hole down there in the back of the fuselage. It wouldn't fly it, but oh, it's a Christmas decoration airplane. Got a couple of them. Yeah, just thinking. Anyway, that's it. Oh, there's the Opera House. Keep safe, keep well. Talk to you next week, all going well. Till then, keep safe. Don't forget, have a go at something. You don't know what you can do until you try. So, till then, catch you later, I suppose. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my videos if you don't, if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment if you've got any questions about what I'm doing, how I'm doing, why I'm doing. Let me know. Anyway, better get this done, better get this edited and get this out for this week. So, till we talk again, hang around. I mean, till we chat again, take care, look after yourself, and we'll have probably an update on the bridge next week. Bye.